Welcome, my name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to Scrapbook Saturday. So this is where I am scrapbooking everyday events during the project 365. So I take one photograph every day for the next 365 days and I am now scrapbooking it as we've gone. So last week I did the first 7. I'm actually going to do 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 today. Because what I wanted to use is this exploring nature, because the colours that were in my photos were perfect for the exploring nature designer series paper and the workshop. So let's put our 2 boards out. Let's get our glue dots. And my pointy tool. Just going to move those over so make sure we can get them all into, there we go, into focus. And these are removable glue dots. If you haven't seen me use them before, I only put one in the top left hand corner, one in the bottom right hand corner, and these help me keep my pieces of paper in place so I don't feel like I'm chasing them around the board. Oops, yeah, there we go, all the way over there. Perfect. Right, let's put that back in the box. Now, we don't sell them in Stampin' Up, but you can get them on Amazon should you wish to use them yourself. Right, okay, so let's bring in what we've got. So I'm using 2 of the papers that are specifically for the workshop. You can tell that they're specifically for the workshop because they've only one-sided. And I don't know if you can see, but you've got like a little line border all the way around, which makes these quite nice. Quite nice. There we go. One in that one and one in that one. And then we can do the same in this one. And then what I've done is I've cut 2 pieces of the same paper down. Now this you can get in the actual pack. You've got, so this is it's almost like charcoal, but I believe it's it is Secret Sea. But let's have a quick look at the colours so I know which I'm going. I've got Balmy Blue, Blueberry Bushel, Cloud Cover, Crumb Cake, Garden Green, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, Old Olive, Pecan Pie, Pretty Peacock, Secret Sea. That's what this one is. White Willow, and that's it. Other one said choking hazards, so that's not what I'm looking for. So they are going to go into the square on the paper. So you've got like a border, then a thin border, and then the paper here. And I have got a pecan pie. So there's 2 different sizes, so I need to make sure I've got the right one. So this one is 8 inches by 6, so that's for this side. And this one is 8 1/4 by 6, which is for this side. These are backing for my photographs, which I shall bring into you in a moment. And I've got that one down there, and that one goes there. So the photographs I've got this time. So I've got, oops, just throwing them around. So that's my suitcase. We're off on holiday for a long weekend. This is my husband. He's learning to try his hand at bowls. This, believe it or not, is an edible flower pot. It is unbelievable. It just looks so realistic. Even the flower can be eaten. Okay, then we've discovered this most amazing shop while we were away. Had the most amazing cards in it, had the most amazing gifts in it. We spent a small fortune, but it sorted out presents for everybody for February and July, believe it or not. This was an amazing rack of gin. In the Isle of Wight, which is where we like to go, there is a place they're called Mermaid Gin, and that is bottle upon bottle upon bottle of Mermaid Gin. It is very nice, and the bottles were brilliant. And as you can see, our favourite place when we go to the Isle of Wight is Yarmouth. For those of you that are sharp. You'll notice there are only 6 photographs. I forgot to print the 6th one, the 7th one. It's on its way. So my plan is 3 on 3. And that way what I can do is I'll use a flip flap over here on page 7. So I've got this cloud cover, which is 2 3/4 by 12. And I'm figuring we can probably go from 4 1/2 down to 2 1/4. And then that will go into there. And do exactly the same on the opposite side. So again, 4 1/2. Straight across to the 12. Might mean we need to lift this up a bit. And then that goes over there. Now, this was all well and good. I got this far, but then I was stuck for embellishments, and I had no idea what I was going to do embellishment-wise. And then I watched a video by Crafty Concepts by Erin, and she reminded me that I'd got a box of scraps that I've taken from previous scrapbook kits I bought. As you can see, there is loads here. So I delved into here and I found the scraps that I was going to be using for my design on the side, plus it gave me sentiments that I liked. So I loved this one, which was Everyday Adventures, because it is things that we've been doing every day. Nothing particularly, there's no focus on the particular month. It was just things that we were doing every day. I've got some other flowers. Now, before I start bringing those in, what I want to do is I'm going to stick this down, because it's going to take, I'm going to get there and then I'm going to be like, oh, I've now got to stick it all down. So let's stick all that down and I'll come straight back. Okay, so everything's stuck down apart from these 2 pictures. Reason being is I'm going to want to put stuff underneath them. Now, I've got these arrows that I found. Sorry, not found. They came in the kit. And I figured if I put them at 4 and brought them along, might need to trim this one. So yeah, I'm just going to trim that bit off there. So bring in my scissors. And I'm just going to put that on there. And then I'll make sure that goes down. And then my photograph can go over the top in the middle. So let's stick that one down now. There we go. Going to do the same on the opposite side. So this was a 1/2 inch strip by 12, and I've just cut it down. So again, this one is going at 4 inches, and I'm not going to need to cut this one because my card is going to go slightly different. It's going to go about there. So let's add those ones. Now, I'm loving these papers. As I say, they came from the Exploring Nature. And this papers will make, I know, will make another debut for everybody. It's just these ones are the ones that focus really well with what I had. So I've got this Everyday Adventure, which will probably go here. I've got, still see I've got this stuck on my hand. Let's move that one away. I've got a beautiful yellow flower, which is going to pick up the yellow from here. I wanted yellow to pick up from the yellow in that one. I'm going to go, I've got this to go across the middle. And then I'm going to put my sentiment on there. So I might need to cut a bit of that off. We'll work that one out in a minute. And on this side, so all of these scraps have literally come from a page that I have used and of what's left over, which is so brilliant because it's just, I was stuck. I just did not know what I was going to use. So this is going to go down here like this. This will pick up the colour from the bottles, I feel. And I've got On This Day, which works really well. And then my information is going to the bottom right again. So I've got two bottom rights. I normally would have done something up the top here and bringing it down, but it just worked best. I could try bring that to there, that to there. Maybe that works better. What do we think? And then that comes in here like so, and we can put the project there. Actually, I quite like that. That works for me. I can put my everyday adventure, can move over slightly, and then that can move up to there. Yeah, let's do that before I change my mind. Right, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal because this is going to go on photographs and it won't ruin the photographs. So that goes across there and onto there. This now needs to come into here, so we can just put those two pieces there. I did think I might have to cut this down, but I don't think I'm going to need to now. Yeah, and it cuts, so it doesn't, it goes over the two layers, which works well for me. Now this is a label, so I can just print this off or peel this off, and then my label can go in the middle. There we go. And I think the more I do this project 365, I think the more I will probably find I'm embellishing. What am I going to do with this one? Am I going to lay it flat? Should I put it underneath? Right, let's glue that. So this is tacky, it's not glued. So let's put a tiny bit of Stampin' Seal on it, just to keep it in place. I think I'm going to put it underneath the flower rather than across the flower. So it's a collect beautiful moments. Well, when you're away, why not? This was brilliant. We'd never done it before, and we both had a whale of a time. I'm going to turn this over. I'm just going to put my Stampin' Seal on this section, so it's not too much on the photograph. There we go. Let's make it straight. Always a good look. Straight. There we go. That's that one. So I'm really happy with that now. The fact that I've moved it works really well for me. And now I'm just going to move this over this way and focus on this bit. Now I want this bit to correspond with the yellow over here. So it's going to go underneath, but as you can see, I've stuck it all the way down. So I'm just going to slice it like that. This bit I can now keep, and then that will go into there. Perfect. And I'll just add my Stampin' Seal. So there we go. Gives me the nice bit there. And so this comes off of there like that. So my flower is going to go across, so over the photograph, over this photograph, and underneath the next one. So just going to put the Stampin' Seal there. It's going to work in that way. Perfect. Now On This Day can go straight across the flower and on the photograph, and then all of a sudden I'm going to pop my label down here, and that will sit in this corner very nicely. And that is my 2 double page spread for days 15 to 21. I'm really happy with those. I like the way that the yellow makes this whole thing pop. Have you ever tried bowling? Use bowls? It should do. It's not bowling as in, you know, the big huge balls that you throw down the thing, but this is where you've got a little black ball and a tiny Jack. Great fun. Really, really enjoyed it. We'll definitely be doing it again. So thank you ever so much for joining me today. I hope you liked this as much as I did, and I look forward to catching up with you very soon. See you next week. Take care. Bye.